Hi, I have now muted everyone and I hope you can now hear me. Just ping me just to make sure that you can hear me. Excellent. Okay, this is a quick overview on the prerequisites features installation for the roles of primary and site servers and also distribution points. We also had a few questions on the SQL installation. We'll just quickly do that. And although when we're going to configure SCCM, we're not going to do a full configuration of the software. What we're going to do is we're just going to just show you some customized collections that are useful, and also we'll run some tools that are quite useful. So that's pretty much it. So if I start by maximizing this remote desktop, you have received this virtual image, and this virtual image I actually saved in the favorites. I put some stuff there that are useful. As you can see, this is the recast that we're going to be using. I've already downloaded that, and also there's some other stuff on the operation collections that we're going to be running with PowerShell. So that's the only thing I wanted to show you on that. And on the VM that you've got in the download folder, there's a folder there called SCCM. So I've put everything that we're going to need for this presentation here. So you can just use that. We're going to start by running the SQL. So let's mount that. So quick installation, new installation. So nothing failed. Good, good, good. Click OK. Yeah, we're taking the evaluation. We accept. We're not going to bother with sending features. So just follow along. If you run into any issues, I'm gonna once we start the installation, I'll come and help you. All right. So yeah, we're gonna install this KB. So that is completed. Click next. Yeah, we're doing the SQL feature installation. Click next. So here we're just going to do the database reporting, and we scroll down and just take the management tools. So that we're going to change the location to the F drive. To the F drive. No, actually, no, we're going to do that to the E drive, and we use the F drive for the SCCM. So let's move that to the E drive. So the installation will be on the E drive. Click next. Click next. So yeah, so we're going to change all this to the E drive. Click next. We'll take the default instance. Yeah, correct. All good. So here we are going to go to the. We have created some network drives for this with the appropriate right. So let's do that. For the agent, click OK. And the password is ABCD1235. I've already copied this, so we just copy and paste. Browse. For the database. for the reporting. Okay, and this is very important that you change the collation. I had this problem one time and I forgot to do this, and it was a pain to rectify. So let's change this. So do not forget to do this, guys. So CP1 CIAS. I mistakenly took the wrong one, AI, and that caused me a lot of headaches. So that's not good. Click next. And we're going to use the current user, which is config-admin, and in a production environment we'll obviously have a group for the admin SCCM admin users. Let's do that. You don't need to go through this because all this will take. We've already pre-configured this when we chose E for the E drive for the installation. So we're going to do just install only, and then we can configure the rest. So good. Next. And that is all good. So I am going to leave this to start to complete the installation. Once this is done, we will continue. Okay, it seems that everybody is now set, and we can continue so what we're going to now do now is we're going to install the service pack so that's the service pack 2. Actually, we should have done service pack 3, but I can't be bothered. It's only in a lab environment anyway. So click yes. Click next. Accept. We're not going to bother with sending features. Just take the default. Just click next and update. Yeah, hi guys. Okay, we set. Let's continue. So that's the Service Pack 2 and the SQL installed. Now we're going to run the tool that we're going to use, the Config Manager prerequisite tool. We used the 1.4 previously, which was a bit of a pain, but now they've done a lot of work on it, and they've really improved the tool. Now you could just right click and run as administrator, and it does all the work for you. So they've really gone downtown on this. So let's come up. So that's the tool. For this case, we're going to set up as the primary site server, but as you can see, you can do this for the secondary sites or for the CAS. Okay, so we're going to choose the primary site. We want to download the prerequisites to a location of our choice, and we are going to choose the F drive. So we're going to choose the F drive, and let's make a folder there and call it downloads, or just call it SCCM downloads. Okay, so that's where we're going to download to and install. That's it. Quite straightforward. As you can see, it's starting to go through the installing the features that are needed for SCCM on this member server. So let's just wait for this. It's going to be quite quick. You can imagine doing this manually, like back in the days. This has really helped us increase the speed at which we can create and deploy SCCM servers. So I'm just going to leave this to run while we have a look at you folks, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So with that concluded, what we're now going to do is to continue with the site roles. So we're going to add the features for the management point. So that's completed, and we are also going to do that for the distribution points. As you can see, if there's no need to install any feature, it just skips it and continues. So let's just wait for that. I'm going to jump onto other folks and just make sure everybody is on the same page. Hold on. Okay, with that done, we're going to do the last but not the least, the application catalog. Okay, so with that completed, we're now going to hop on to the Active Directory configuration. So first, we need to extract the. So in the the downloads folder, I have a zip file there for you. So let's go on to that. So if we unzip this, the 1606 file, let's open and extract that to, we're going to extract it to the F drive, so that everything for SCCM is on the F drive. So let's unzip that. So that's all unzipped. So let's so we're going to create the system management container, and we are going to add the servers that will have admin rights to that container, which is the SCCM server group that we pre-created. So if we do a search for that, there you go. So we choose that. So we're going to extend that first. So that's it, running the extend schema tool. So that was successful. As you can see there, schema has successfully been extended, and we are now going to create the system management container and also add the permissions for that server. So that shows you that the container was created and successfully added the SCCM server group to the container. So that's all completed, and now moving on to the Windows ADK. We're going to use the latest, which is the 1607, and we're going to do it online. Unfortunately, I forgot to download it, so we're going to just we're going to have to download it on the fly. It's not a big file, but we should be able to. So we should be able to do. But sometimes I prefer to actually download it offline and then install from there. But in this case, let's just go ahead and. I hope you guys have the correct internet, the correct bandwidth that will download this in a record time, as this is going to be. So after this, it's going to require us to do a shutdown. Might as well start that. So once this is complete, it's going it's going to require us to do a shutdown. As you can see here, once the installation is complete, it will be shown below, and it was going to tell us that we're going to do a restart. So just get that ready. So let me just pause and jump on to make sure everybody's on the same frequency. Hold on. Okay, as you can see, it is now completed, and it's recommended to do a restart. So we should do that now. And let's log back into the remote desktop. And let's continue where we stopped. So where were we? Let's just make sure they started okay. That's all right. So we have completed the Windows ADK 1607 installation, and now we're going to set up the WUS. So we just do that, and we're going to use the same place for the configuration manager. We're not going to use the SQL drive. Let's use the SCCM drive. So let's do that. And we're going to use the Windows ID and the with the Windows internal database. So change this to F. Okay, so with that completed, we are pretty much done. We're ready to go. But before we go, what I would like us to do is to make sure that we have configured the reporting. Make sure we'll type in. So we're going to connect. Yep, that's all good. So first, we're going to confirm that the URL is. We apply for the URL to be configured. Okay, that's all good. Reserved. Ooh, I should have changed the port to, anyway, let's just leave it. It's just a temp one, and we're just going to confirm that the database that we can connect to the database. So that concludes the test that I just wanted to make sure that we have access to the database, and we have applied the. So I don't think there is anything else that we need to do. Okay, so what else do we want to do? Okay, the email settings. Yeah, for this we're just gonna give it any name. So we're just gonna set the address is gonna be GK. So for the SMTP server, let's just use, well, I did not configure this, so let's just, I'm just going to put a dummy IP address there. So that's that. Let's apply that. So this is just going to be used for the subscriptions. That's all. And that is pretty much it. So like I said, now we're going to install the client service, client configuration manager as the primary site server. So we choose the default. Evaluation, take all the accept all terms. So we would have used the previous, as we noticed previously, the folder did not previously download, which is a bit worrying. So I'm going to create a new folder and call it SCCM download 1. Don't know why the first one didn't download as we saw earlier, so we're going to choose that as a location where it's going to download the files to. So let's choose that. Let's go to the F5 and let's choose that as the new location. Like I said, I don't know why that prerequisite didn't install, but let's continue. All should be good. We're just taking English. It's normally just English. Just here, and then we're going to just call this Jack2. And we're going to call this primary site server 1. And we want the installation folder to be in the F drive. Yeah, install the console. We're not joining an existing hierarchy, so we're going to create a new standalone. It's going to come up with a message saying that we're doing this. We just click yes. They'll just take the defaults, click next. Yep, take the defaults, and we're going to configure this for HTTPS and no, for HTTPS, but we can take the defaults if it's not available. Click next, take the default. Yep, all good, and that should come check out right. So as you can see, the prerequisite was successful. Just warnings, basic warnings, but let's just begin with the install. So this is going to take about 30 minutes. I'm going to use this to just go around the table and see if everybody's on the same page. If anybody's lost, I can assist that person in moving on. Okay, just hold on while we wait. Okay, that's completed. It did take longer than I expected, but at the end of the day, it is complete. So we are good to go. Let's just have a look here. Yep, so that's all good. So let's close that. And like I said, we're not going to configure the SCCM right now. Let's see if it's find it. We can do a search for it. Can't find it. Do a quick reboot, or you know what? Let's manually go to the location on this. So should be able to see it here. Microsoft Windows. There you go. So that's it. So we're going to pin this to Task Manager. So you can see this is has been installed. We're not going to go through all the settings to check system states, sites, the components and all that. We're not going to go all that. The key thing I want to point out to you is that if you go to access and compliance, and let's go into the devices, the only device that is available, if you right click, you can see that you can only see the properties. There is another tool that I would like to encourage you to use so that you can run client operations via the server. And what else did I say that we're going to do? And also we're going to add under the device collection, we're going to add some a new operation folder which will have more collections. So to do that, let's go back to the downloads folder, and let's start with the collection. So this is the collection. So if we right click and run this in PowerShell and say yes, so that's looking good. It's looking good. So let's just wait for that to create all these collections. So this will create a subfolder here on the collections once it's done. So let's just wait for that. So that's good. The script execution completed without errors. And let's press enter to continue. And that's all done. And the last thing that I also wanted to do is to run the recast. So let's install that. Click next, optional, accept, and install. So that's all finished. And now if we just close the console and restart the console. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you on the device, or first let me show you the collections. So if we go to the collections, so under the collection, you will see a subfolder called operations, and it has all those collections that we've just created, which can be useful. And also if you go to the devices and say, if you click on a device and right click, now you now have this Recast RCT, and from there you can do some cool things on the actual client. As you can see, you can run cycles, and there's also tools that you can actually do on those machines, like run checks, repair the client, uninstall the client, and stuff like that. So this is pretty much what I wanted to show. You can also see that you can restart and shut down systems and all that from here. So that pretty much covers it. I know that we covered a lot. I just wanted to touch bases on this cool tool that I find very useful, and I hope it's going to be also useful for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop now. I'm just going to quickly make sure that everybody's on the same page, and then we're pretty much good to go. As you can see, unfortunately, this VM will expire in 13 days, so I would recommend that you use the next 2 weeks to go through it thoroughly. Okay, guys, that pretty much covers it. So that pretty much covers it, and I will talk to you guys next time. Have fun. Cheers. Bye.